out! The draft! It's right around the corner.
Team mid laners, if not.
Thank you very much, Sumi. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand finals of the International 10. Team Spirit up against PSG LGD Insania. It's a pleasure to have you by my side once again. How excited are you to see these two teams go head-to-head in this best of 5?
I mean, I'm extremely excited. This is bringing back memories of TI6, where you had DC make the miracle run in the lower bracket and going up against Wings at the time, and you have some of the Wings players on LGD's side, so I'm feeling TI6 vibes, and I think this Game 1 draft actually looks really, really good for Spirit.
Okay, what is it in particular you like about what they've done here in this first game?
I mean, I feel like, as Notel said, touched on, the way that the lanes are set up, I feel like they're going to have a really nice start to the game, and I feel like LGD's like really, really timing dependent, and they need to make sure that when they pop roll and they use the Wolf Bite on Ursa, they get a lot in the fights. And when I look at Spirit's draft, I see answers. They have the sleep, they have like 10 different stuns that they can throw out, and even if they burn the Ravage, I feel like the 4-man of their draft can still fight. So if they can get the Naga fat enough, if the Naga can ever join the fights and actually have a presence, I think their draft looks really, really nice to play.
And it's, you know, you've got to be excited to see it, right? Another game, Yatora just continuing to show off his versatility of carry heroes. This is crazy here. Here in the grand finals, Naga Siren coming out. I mean, when you've seen how the man can play on all the list of heroes that he's pulled out so far, there's no reason to doubt that he can't pull out a top-tier performance on any of the carries available in the game.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, he's shown that he can play pretty much.
Bit of a poke onto Maposhka as Yatora will still be able to grab that bounty rune. In fact, as you can see, 3 bounty runes to start things off here for Spirit, so a bit of a cash bonus to begin the lanes with.
Yeah, and that was nicely scouted out by the ET. They find the information of where and how many heroes has LGD brought to which runes, and then they can split up their heroes accordingly and make sure that they get the advantage on the runes.
Let's look at some of these matchups. The mid lane, Pango versus Void Spirit, Toronto Tokyo versus Nothing to Say. What are we going to have going on here in the early few waves?
I think most likely it's going to be a pretty farm-heavy lane. I don't think really either of the two heroes are going to aim to kill each other. Probably going to be a lot of trying to push out the waves, control the runes, and then around 6 minutes when the real rune spawns, that's when you'll see both the supports collapse on the mid lane. Because I think both Pango and Void Spirit really rely on that rune control.
And looking at both sort of the side lanes, the 2 carries, Arme and Yatora, who's going to have the easier time?
I think if you take a look at top lane, you see Ursa against Tidehunter, generally a pretty good lane matchup because you think of how the Fury Swipes stack up on him, and they have the sustain to tank the harassment that's coming out from Team Spirit. So I think as they level up on the top lane, I imagine the Wisp Ursa will do fairly well up top. But with that said, I think Collapse is still going to have a decent game.
I mean, Collapse has definitely been that solid rock of a player for Spirit time after time. He's been the one that they have, you know, been very happy to give that prioritization, get his game into a good shape so that he can be the one to lead the charge into the team fights and start the action off for Spirit in those mid-game.
Yeah, absolutely. And bottom lane, Yatora's kind of playing this type of laning where you're not going to be pressured at all. Team LGD's priority here is first trying to get their Lycan farmed and make sure that they're like playing for their own farm. So Yatora's going to have a great start, and he has the ability to farm up the jungle because he has the illusions that can both push out the wave and farm the jungle camp. So I expect Yatora to be leading the net worth charts as soon as we get into around the 5-minute mark of the game.
One of the reasons why Yatora has been as scared as he can, even if the lane was a tough one, he always seems to be able to recover. So the fact that he's going to have a decent time to start off things, you know that he will be on track to hit some pretty insane CS. It really is going to be completely down to how much PSG LGD can find in terms of getting their Ursa involved in the kills early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's just some trade-offs going on, but you can tell already from the net worth graphs that Team Spirit has set up their lanes to have very good farm on all 3 of their cores.
Certainly showing so far here on the early CS. Both side lane cores for PSG LGD just struggling a slightly bit more. Those very early days though.
But a lot of levels coming in LGD's way. Like, this Lycan is doing surprisingly fine. He's not really getting pressured that much by the Naga and the ET because he's managed to get the lane control. Yatora's shoved out the wave, but Miposhka yet hasn't been able to get a pull to get the lane control back. So the Lycan's getting a lot of farm while Y is able to just rotate around, moves to the mid lane, opens up the small camp. And like we talked about, right, the middle lane is going to be contested in terms of like who can push out the wave the most and then go farm the small camp. And Y on top of it runs over, unblocks his mid laner small camp to make sure that he can stay even with the Void Spirit.
And when you look at the tools they have available both sides with their supports, do you imagine once the 6 is there for the mids, we're going to have sort of a collapse on the mid lane to try and get the early objective, or do you think it's going to be all about reacting to the side lane fights here for the Pango and the Void Spirit?
I think it's going to be important to get the rune. Like, whoever gets the first power rune of the game is going to kind of get to decide what happens. You get your bottle refilled, but you also have the ability to make a rotation. As Mira
could be in a bit of trouble here. We'll try and hold back the bear with the Hex. He's got the stick charges, but he's getting run down here by Arme. One more hit will do it. Can he close the gap? He can't. Oh, stun misses. That's going to cost him his life. Not the start there that Mira was hoping to have here in the grand finals. A whiffed ability, and that'll give it first blood to PSG LGD.
Yeah, and Collapse isn't out of the woods quite yet. Arme's hungry.
In a bit of an awkward position now, Collapse. Stuck behind the tree line. We'll see how he gets his way out of it. He does have a TP, a little short on the mana. He'll have it back up now. Should be able to walk his way back ground, but a great bit of aggression there from PSG LGD, just opening up some space for Arme to return to farming.
Yeah, absolutely. And you notice that LGD are keeping the lane control up top, so this puts Tide under constant pressure, and you never know when they might make some sort of move and try to kill him. And that forces Mira to stay in the top lane. While if you look at Y, you notice that he's just rotating around constantly. He has the freedom to move wherever he wants on the map, because the lane is so pushed out by the way that the Naga plays, and the Riptide shoving out the creeps. So the Lycan can freely farm under his tower, and the Disruptor has the freedom to decide what he wants to do.
Let's see what that call's going to be. We'll come in mid here. Toronto Tokyo taking a bit of harassment from the Thunderstrike, nothing to say. Stepping right up to him. There's a remnant at the ready though, Toronto Tokyo.
2 seconds.
He's got the protection here of the Resonant Pulse.
And great usage there of that armor. He uses the health damage of Resonant Pulse to bottle up to make sure that he's not within the kill range of the Swashbuckle Compango.
Is under attack.
Oh, some good early pressure though from PSG LGD, forcing Toronto Tokyo to be very cautious in that mid lane as early as it is, just 5 minutes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you think about Elder Titan, you kind of think of him as a lane dominant hero. And both Notail and Seth touched on it, right? You want to abuse the fact that LGD have no stuns. But because of how this bottom lane is played out, with the Naga lane constantly being shoved into the Lycan's tower, the Elder Titan hasn't really been able to abuse his laning phase presence.
Oh, look at this now. There we have it. Nice bit of micro from Faith Beyond. That'll grab himself a free courier. As the wolves chase down poor old baby Faceless Rex.
Up top, Collapse is also taking pressure now. So again, the freedom of Y, he's just allowed to rotate to mid, set up some pressure on the Void Spirit. Now he's up top, making sure he's just in their face and forcing them to react to his movement.
Yeah, he's all over the place, Y.
Yeah.
Spirit, definitely got to try and do something in return. Yeah, they themselves bring the 2 supports up to top. Just sort of figuring out what to do about this roaming Disruptor here in the early minutes of the match.
Yep, here we go. First fight for the runes. Where is it going to spawn, top or bottom?
Let's have a look. It is going to be down bottom, and it is a DD. It's going to go straight into the bottom of Toronto Tokyo. So a very nice rune for it to fight with, but already up top. Spirit, they'll lose Mira.
Yeah, it's a DD Toronto Tokyo though. Let's see how he can respond back with it, because now you have a Pangolier with low mana, and he's going to be aware of it. So he knows that he can make a move here, and the Pangolier won't really be able to respond.
Yeah, this is an excellent move for Toronto Tokyo to find it. He's going to use it straight away. Goes aggressive. He's going to miss the Dissimilate though. A couple of hits will do it. Can he quite close the gap? No, he's not going to be able to get the second hit in. Nothing to say. Steps away. I mean, that would have been such a big kill for him to find. He got the dream rune for it, but he couldn't quite get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate, but you know, that's Dota.
Middle tower is under attack.
Disruptor though, he's gonna TP into the middle lane here. I'd be scared to do this. Let's see if Toronto Tokyo has the will to chase him down.
Yeah, he's still got this DD going for a few seconds. Why? Living on the edge a little bit. Yeah. Toronto Tokyo feels that he can get in with the Astral Step, but why knows? He's keeping his distance.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the net worth, you see Yatoro. He's just going to start accelerating his farm even more, but I'm impressed by how well the Ursa's been able to keep up. And this is largely due to the fact that they had lane control for so long up at the top lane, and they were able to just keep their heroes, so the enemy heroes, so close to the tower, so Tide could never really feel creative.
Oh, mate. He's going to try and step over for Mira, but again, Team Spirit, they've kept their 2 supports up here, both Mira and Maposhka, making sure that there's never the opportunity for Arme to get any kills up here right now. As you say, Arme doesn't care too much. Complete free farm, level with that of Yatoro's Naga Siren. He's having no struggles whatsoever, but Spirit just trying their best to limit anything else going into the hands of the Ursa this early.
Yeah, and you notice the Naga in the bottom lane now. She's just going to put her illusions on the lane, push out the waves, while she farms the jungle camps close by, and try to get ahead of the Ursa by doing this constantly. And LGD are going to try to match by using the Wisp Overcharge to allow the Ursa to farm. And we notice both these teams are so good at stacking, and here we go again. Runes are spawning.
And Toronto Tokyo is going to be the focus. Quick jump away from the Rolling Thunder.
Yes, it's an arcane rune secured though, so if they can manage to survive these 70 seconds and nothing too bad happens, this is a huge rune for them to have.
I'm all about these power runes early on, especially in a game, 8 minutes in, only the 2 kills so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's the tension, right? Neither team really has anything to do yet, and they're both drafting for slightly later timings in the game. The Tidehunters now finally hit level 6, so if there's an opening, look for some sort of rotation. I think it's hard to go for the Ursa, so there might even be the possibility of the Tidehunter rotating out of this lane.
Sure.
And making some sort of move with Toronto Tokyo.
When you just look at the heroes that PSG have at their disposal, and you feel that Spirit, they're just not going to want to try and push into that tier 1 quite yet.
I think for Spirit, your expectation was to do slightly better in the lanes, but they haven't really been able to do so.
See, it's alright. Getting gone on here by the 2 of them, but the Rolling Thunder not quite ready again. Not quite yet. They'll get the glimpse back, but no further damage to come into onto the Naga Siren, so Yatoro will be fine.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there, it seems. The shield crash wasn't used on the hero. The glimpse came in a little bit later.
And they've got their eyes on Arme. Obviously, they know that play was made by a couple of PSG LGD inside their own jungle, but Arme, he's out of reach of the Remnant, he's away. Space is there, down bottom, Faith Beyond continues the push. The tier 1 to fall already here on Spirit's side of the map.
Yeah, I think this is the most shocking part of this early game, because I expected the Lycan kind of get zoned out by the Naga, and the Naga Illusions would defend them, but...
Let's see if they can get Arme. They've got 4 heroes working on him right now.
Ravage.
He has the ult up, he's on the retreat up to the high ground, but they'll be able to get in front of him, close off his escape. Spirit will finally be able to claim their first kill here in the first 10 minutes, getting themselves on the board.
Yeah, and this is a huge kill because it allows for Team Spirit to now start firing back and taking over this top lane area. They need this tower to fall. And meanwhile, this is the response you see from PSG LGD. They rotate their heroes mid to try to force Spirit away from the top tower and force them to come defend their mid tower as the more valuable tower for the later Roshan.
And they're hitting these timings, PSG LGD, no doubt about it. Spirit just having to let them do so.
Yeah, I mean, this Lycan really has becoming the big X factor. I don't think Spirit expected him to be this strong out of the laning phase. And now Am is going to comfortably move into his triangle and start farming up. I think once he hits that Diffusal Blade, look to see Spirit try to, LGD try to make some move. But I think if LGD gets the farm up right now, they feel like they've hit they have enough map space to where they're comfortable playing around their cooldowns and just waiting for the Disruptor ultimate to come online, wait for the Lycan to finish up his items, and then just play around his forms together with the power runes that the Pangolier is securing.
I mean, in this sort of game where, both teams playing as carefully as they are, just 1 to 2, coming up to 11 minutes, do you look at the Naga Siren and feel that for Spirit, if they can keep this game in pretty calm waters and not allow the early aggression from PSG LGD to get to them too much, this Naga Siren will be able to carry out in the later stages, or do PSG LGD always have the means to deal with her?
I think to some extent you are happy, but I feel like you wanted the laning phase to go better so that LGD's timings come later into the game. So knowing that your lanes haven't quite gone the way you wanted them to, they must feel like, okay, at some point now, once LGD gets items, they're going to come running at us.
Look at this shot, nothing to say. He's going to get the lead in onto Collapse. He'll drop the Static Storm as well, putting no chance of Collapse being able to return fire quite yet with a potential Ravage. Doesn't matter though, he's able to walk out to the side. They'll go for the glimpse back on him. He'll simply look for the TP out, and there's nothing to put a stop to it. Collapse, realizing his strength here with a Hood of Defiance, he's got enough tank ability to just TP out of it all. That's the Rolling Thunder and the Static Storm put to waste there by PSG LGD.
Yeah, great jukes. He just dodged out the Pangolier spells, and once the Rolling Thunder missed, he knew that he was safe. Glimpse is used, TP out. Just great presence of mind there from Collapse, knowing exactly how to play his situation out and get out safely. I love what LGD are doing though. If you take a look at the top lane, this is one of the things I loved about how OG ran the Wisp into position 3. They recognize that Wisp's item timings are really important for you to keep these heroes alive, because if you think about how healing works in Dota, heroes keep growing their hero pool, like health pools, but the healing items are static amounts of heals. So 250 health on a hero that has 1000 HP is like a lot more than it is on a hero that has 3000 HP. So if you hit these heal item timings early into the game, that really enables you, and they've given Xingqiu the top lane to sit here and farm comfortably.
I'll see that bottom. Why? Quite a dangerous position here. Inside the jungle of Team Spirit in Toronto Tokyo will be quick to put a stop to it.
Naga Siren also closing in on the Mantha, and by the looks of it, she's going to get that item before Earthsave even completes his Diffusal Blade. So yeah, Toronto's probably very happy in this game, feeling comfortable with how it's going right now.
And when you look at sort of what they have against him, do you feel that a lot of the map is pretty safe for this Naga Siren to farm in. As long as the Song and the TP's up, will he get away most of the time?
I mean, most likely. I think the tricky thing here, if you're LGD, is how do we deal with the illusions? How do we deal with the Naga putting illusions in our jungle that will scout out our movement and force us to play away from Roshan? Because as Dyer here, No-Tail and Seb also very touched on this a lot. The Ursa wants Aegis. This is his most key item, especially when you're going up against big cooldowns like Ravage, like Finger, Earth Splitter. You know these long cooldowns, people don't want to use them on your Aegis, so it's going to be important for him to get it. And the Naga, as long as he's able to play top and put illusions in the top Dyer jungle, it's really hard. Like, what are you going to do? Because their heroes don't have ways to effectively kill the illusions.
And you feel that Spirit, their lineup, is geared up pretty well to deal with the fact that PSG will look for the Roshan. They won't be afraid of turning up and trying to put a stop to it.
I mean, I think that's where the information game is going to be important. Can Spirit actually use the vision that they're getting to fight off LGD's timing? Because I think that is like the big question mark. Is the Ursa going to be too strong for you to kill? Or is it enough to just sleep away half the wolf fight duration and then try to fight them afterwards?
I think we're definitely going to see Yatoro start to increase the lead against Arme. Bottom lane White, he'll drop the Static Storm, trying to save himself, but collapsing Maposhka will run him down, take him out. Faith Piani's looking to get involved in this with the back of a nothing to say, being brought over by Jinkyu. They will get Maposhka. Can the three of them get collapsed? They're trying to commit their best onto him. They will leave the two cores behind it. Jinkyu trying to let nothing to say and Faith Pian finish the job, but they just can't. The damage isn't there. Toronto Tokyo was also starting to sweep over, so PSG they have to back up and just accept the trade as it is, the support for support.
Yeah, and Collapse now knowing that, you know what, they can't actually kill me without the Ursa. It's only the Ursa that can threaten my life. Just comfortably sits bottom alone, pushes out the waves, gaining as much farm as he can. And in the meanwhile, Yatoro just pushes out top lane, farming out all these top jungle camps. If you take a look at the Dyer jungle, there are no camps alive.
I mean, Yatoro's farm, he is creeping further and further ahead of Arme's Ursa. You know, if there's not going to be any blood being spilt and it is just the creeps dying, this Naga Siren is just going to charge ahead in regards to farm. Yatoro is going to be huge.
Yeah, and he's going for a very interesting build. He's buying the Aghanim Scepter, and the Aghanim Scepter allows him to use his Ensnare on heroes that are either slept by his ulti or spell immune. So this will give them a way to deal with BKBs. And traditionally, the way you deal with, for example, a Tidehunter Ravage is by buying a BKB. Or in this case, you have the Pangolier with Rolling Thunder. So he's actually going to be able to lock down the Pangolier during his Rolling Thunder with his net. It's a very, very smart item decision here from the Naga.
A very long lockdown and reduced cooldown and increased cast range. He's going to have no trouble finding the target that he wishes every single team fight.
Yep, LGD also heavily reliant on the Pangolier for the lockdown, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see him use it, specifically just to make sure the Pango can't roll over his teammates.
And I guess sort of the smart approach with this item is the fact that this sort of deals with this timing where PSG LGD is going to be more ready to fight than he is, right? He can just sort of be the anti-fight. He just stops it, gets out of there, can keep playing his game. And certainly one of the crucial parts of PSG LGD's initiation, it's shut down completely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Spirit, that's the name of the game, right? Can we drag this game on? And literally slowing him down during his roll, forcing his timing to be unable to be used, is just exactly what Spirit are looking for in this game. But yeah, we're starting to see items gear up on LGD's side. And if you take a look at the Lycan, his timing is really going to be the big thing. But I think Spirit have won the early game in that there's no Roshan killed yet. And that means the second Roshan is going to spawn slower, and that's no Aghanim Shard for Ursa for the first half hour of the game.
I mean, if you're PSG LGD right now, what sort of calls are you making? Are you looking at an item that's round the corner and then saying we've got to go? Do they need to go right now? How urgent do they need to be?
I think they looks like they're gearing up to look for an opportunity, right? You finished up the Helm of the Overlord. The Ursa now has his Diffusal Blade. Your Wisp is closing in on mech. You already have the Holy Locket. So there's a lot of nice tools for LGD to take a straight up team fight if Team Spirit presented to them.
Yeah, mate. It's going to start with a bit of a tickle onto Toronto Tokyo. The Remnant holds back the bear. Quick jump out with the steps. Nothing to say. He's trying to close in. Does he want to keep diving underneath the tier 2? Maybe trying to get some vision for a setup from the Disruptor. But now, Team Spirit, they're far enough away. Nothing to say. We're going to hit with the Swashbuckler. Procs of the Maelstrom. Nearly bringing him down. But Toronto Tokyo gets away on as low HP as he is. Collapse also able to TP out as there's nothing else to stop his escape. Team Spirit, they're able to avoid the move completely by PSG LGD once again.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to involve the Naga. So during all of this time, Yatoro's still just gaining farm. He's 2,000 gold ahead of the Ursa already.
Oh my, this is going to be a problem.
He's getting out of control. He's only, I believe he just finished his Aghanim Scepter too. So he has Manta and Aghanim Scepter at 17 minutes into the game. He's crazy farm.
This is, I mean, Yatoro, it really has been eyes on him throughout the whole tournament and performance of Spirit top lane setups there with an that's the mid gone, nothing to say. Going down, Yatoro, instant Song TP as he knows the response will be there from PSG LGD. Gets out, they cannot catch him. Yatoro will continue to farm.
Yeah, this is a really important kill, but by forcing the Naga Siren to TP out, LGD now have the option of potentially taking back control of their jungle. So this is going to be their objective for the next minute here. As you see, they're going to try to contest this Tidehunter. They know the Naga Siren is not present.
See what they can do about Collapse. Jump already in onto the Disruptor, they're looking to burst. Collapse, he's holding on to the Ravage for now. Static Storm's down, Collapse gets himself out of the side of the Ravage. Onto the two, and then they blow up Orme. It's 3 down at the moment on PSG LGD. I am also caught out, GQ to fall.
That's absolutely massive.
My goodness.
Team Spirit's so aware of everything. They know that this is what LGD wants to do. The Naga TP'd out, they're going to come contest us. They position their heroes perfectly. You see the kinetic field come out, but there's no static storm to follow because you have the Lion in position to interrupt that. It's just Spirit are playing so well right now. They're just recognizing where LGD's timings are.
It just seems like already, just in the first 18 minutes of this game one of the grand finals, Team Spirit, they're just completely in the heads of PSG LGD. The way that PSG LGD wanted to play, it's just not happening. They're crumbling, they're falling apart. And Yatura, he's just going to continue the glory. Mid lane, the setup there onto the Pango. Nothing to say, goes down. Another kill for this Naga Siren. I do not know or see how on earth PSG LGD is going to stop this man this game.
He's getting out of control, and if you look at the Lycan, you can see he decided to not go for the Aghanims. He's going for drums. They're gearing up for a quicker timing in this game. I think the mechanism comes out on Xingqiu. They get the BKB finished up on Ame, and they're going to look for some sort of team fight. But the way that Team Spirit are abusing the vision, if you take a look at the map, like, there are almost no dire wards anywhere. Radiant are in firm control of where the vision is. And the only ward that they have, I think Miposha literally just pinged out. There you go. Just controlling the vision. They have more information to play with, and this is what's allowing Team Spirit to constantly be reading LGD and how they're moving around the map.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bottom. Toronto Tokyo, he'll show his face, but not worried about any catch from PSG LGD. They just don't have the members around. Space is made, the tier 2 tower going down at the top lane. There won't be any defense from PSG LGD here as Spirit just continue to hit the timings, take the objectives at a pace that PSG LGD's lineup will be incredibly jealous of. This is what they wanted to be doing, and it's happening the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. They are starting to finish up some key items though. You see the Pangolier now has a Blink Dagger, so they have an easier form of initiation rather than just trying to run at them with a roll. So if Team Spirit heroes start getting cocky and playing alone, there is a way for LGD to respond and punish. Very close to this mechanism on the Wisp as well. It's just 100 gold away, and this really is the Wisp's big timing. You have both the Holy Locket and the mech to heal up the Ursa, and Ursa's closing in on BKB, so I'm smelling a fight in the waters, Owen.
Yeah, the next one, it's got to be strong from PSG LGD. Another rough fight, and this game could quickly fall out of control.
Yeah, and as strong as a Naga Siren is when she's playing this kind of map game and she's able to get the pickoffs, she isn't the strongest hero to fight up against the Ursa. So if you think about how these heroes function against each other, the Naga can't really fight up against the Ursa straight up. So if LGD is able to corner Team Spirit and they can take a fight where it's just a straight up 5v5 with the BKB and the mechanism finished, that could be an amazing timing for them. But Spirit don't want to allow that, so they're deciding to smoke up and make the move on their own first.
Let's see if they catch PSGD whilst they least expect it. BKB is out for Ame.
Dire's
Y. Let's start things off, they'll go for Y. Take the Disruptor out of the action.
And Disruptor is a really key kill, because if the Disruptor isn't alive in the fight, they can't really go for Collapse. Look at Collapse's itemization. This is so smart. He's going for the Yules to get it with a hood and a Blink Dagger. And why is this interesting? Because if you're inside of a Static Storm, and you Yule yourself, and you have the hood up, and there's no physical damage to hit you, you can actually just blink straight out of it. So just really, really smart item decisions coming out of Collapse here.
Well, we'll definitely have to look out for that play. Would be a rather impressive outpost, taken back into the hands of Spirit. And keeping full control around this area, this Roshan, as you say, which is just sort of it's a long-distant dream, it seems, for PSG LGD. They're never getting anywhere close to this pit until they're able to find the fight that they've been hunting for the whole 22 minutes of this game. They'll smoke up now, ready to go. PSG LGD, they have to find success here.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you take a quick look at Lycan before the fight breaks out, he's decided not to go for the wolf fight. They recognize that they won't be able to play the strat the way they intended for it to. So he's going to be building up some damage items as well.
Smoke. We'll dispel here on Toronto Tokyo. Same to be set for PSG LGD. They know that both teams are waiting here up to the side of the river. on the respective edges, and now Army, he's going to sneak into the Roche, start to try and take it out here.
Yeah, for the first time in this game, they've been allowed to take back the Dire jungle and try to apply some pressure to Roche. So I expect Team Spirit also recognize that, you know what, we've given up the Dire jungle. What would LGD do with that? Well, they would go to Roshan. So
See Spirit, check this out. Army's going to slow it down a little bit. The Spirit's coming in. They know that they know. Stomp in. Onto the IO. They're going to lead in. There's the jump straight away. They're looking to burst through the IO. And the Aegis are fall into the hands of Army. Army's able to get the Roche kill, get the Aegis. They get the static storm down. The Rolling Thunder has won and control Toronto Tokyo. But he's out with an Astral Step. Toronto Tokyo actually makes it out of there. Dissimulate as well. PSG may have got the Roche. They may have got the Aegis. Toronto Tokyo will still go down as Faith Beyond was able to wrap around and find him.
yeah, really nice play there from LGD. What an unfortunate event there for Xinkyu. He gets pulled into the Roche pit. You really want to stay outside with a tether, but stay tethered to Ame, but he takes one step too close, and then the Wisp comes inside the Roche pit, which gives Spirit the perfect opportunity there to go in, but I don't think they were quite expecting the BKB, so all in all, I think they're happy with this. You know, they gave up the Aegis, but it took them 24 minutes to get there, so Roshan number 2, which really is Ursa's key timing in this game to get that shard so that he can play most of the fights enraged, is going to come much, much later than they expected.
But definitely the beginnings of PSG LGD getting this game back under their control.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they need to abuse the fact that they have the Aegis to try to gain some map control here. You want to try to get the lanes pushed out, force Team Spirit to play reactive to you, and then once you are able to corner them in, you're going to find that team fight that you so much want. So the hard part here for them is how do we deal with the Naga illusions, and how do we stop them from just using illusions to push the lanes back and make us play the map game.
I mean, and yeah, which hero are you sort of putting in charge of dealing with that?
I mean, they picked the Pangolier as an answer, right? And if you look at his itemization, he's going for the Maelstrom. He's trying to have some more damage and have some more presence to kill the illusions. And luckily for him, Yatora hasn't really bought any items that tank the illusions up. He's more so building his hero up so that he's able to fight into the Ursa. He's going for that Bloodthorn. It looks like he's going to follow it up with a Heart, so he's also gone for some sort of hybrid build where he can actually get solo kills if he catches people out alone.
And for Spirit right now, despite the Aegis falling into the hands of Arme, are you still very willing to fight? How much do you need to respect this Aegis on the bear?
I think, team fight bottom. Xinkyu in trouble.
Xinkyu will manage to make his way around the Remnant. Quick tether back over to the safety of Arme.
Yeah, I mean, for Spirit, I think you want to fight, but it needs to be the right fight. You ideally want Yatora to try to force some hero around the map, and then once you know that the PSG LGD's heroes aren't in position to connect, then you can go for some sort of smoke. Then you can make that move. But the difficulty for them is you can't necessarily go on the Ursa. You don't have the tools to bring him down at the start of a team fight.
Got the eyes on the two of them bottom. PSG LGD, Arme and Xinkyu. On their own down here for now. There is a relocate available, and of course with the Aegis, Army a very hard target to jump. Pressure continues from Yatoro and his illusions in the mid lane, keeping these waves shoved right up towards the base of PSG LGD.
And down bottom, Team Spirit are just waiting patiently, but LGD have recognized that they TP'd bottom, right? So it's very likely that their heroes are stuck on that side of the map. So here they come sweeping up towards the Dire jungle, understanding that Spirit cannot already have moved their pieces from all the way from bottom back to top after the TP response to the tier 2 tower. So just smart play coming out from both sides. I think we saw this in the VP Spirit series. Team Spirit are going to be really, really smart about only fighting under their vision, or where they feel comfortable that they have the information they need to take the fight. I think in this way, LGD's like maybe sometimes a little bit more reckless and will play with like assumptions. Like if they see you bottom, they might try to aim to fight you top, which we saw earlier. And in the early game, you know, Spirit read that perfectly. So if Spirit's able to get a good read like that, you might see them pounce.
Top tower is under attack.
Yatoro very ready to enter the fights now with his aggressive item with the Bloodthorn complete. They're able to get that locked down with the stuns of the Lion and the Tide. That amp up of the damage will allow them to just destroy whichever hero they target.
Under attack.
Yeah, and something that I noticed Team Spirit do a lot when they feel like they're on the back foot is take over the enemy triangle and try to set up control here. And this is something that I'm sure LGD are aware of too, but Lycan's in trouble.
I've got the setup here. You see the damage here with the Bloodthorn really amping up. It's not quite enough though. Faith Beyond makes it away, has the plate mill and Hyperstone done already onto the way to the AC. An additional bit of armor certainly helping out.
Yeah, and this is an opening now for Spirit. The Lycan form is down. One of the big tools in this team fight is gone. So in the other series when we saw LGD play the tiny Lycan, the Lycan's form himself doesn't really matter. It was all about that wolf bite. But in this game, because he decided to itemize his own hero, the 60 seconds of downtime here is quite big. And you see LGD pulling back their pieces, not willing to play aggressive on the top lane anymore, recognizing that they don't have all the tools necessary to win a team fight.
Team Spirit remaining in this whole area of the triangle, Yatoro
Dire's bottom tower.
Slowly
is under
sieging
attack.
onto the tier 1 tower, seeing what sort of reaction they can force out of PSG LGD. 20 seconds until that Aegis is gone off Arme. Unlikely to find a fight with that still in his hands, so the game once again falling to a bit of a risky territory for PSG LGD, at least until they can hold off
Dire's
for that
bottom
second
tower
round of
is under
Roshan.
attack.
Yeah,
Radiant's
and
top
Illusions
tower
just
is
slowly
under
chipping away at
attack.
this tower. They don't really deal a lot of damage, but it's something that, you know, LGD might respond to. So they're keeping heroes close by that in case LGD just feel like, oh, it's just an illusion hitting our tower, they're ready to pounce. And you see, Nothing to Say reads that too. He understands based on the fact that there's nothing happening on any of the other lanes. Both our middle lane is pushing out, top lane's pushing out. Lycan's getting a lot of farm from all these waves right now. He recognizes all the Team Spirit heroes are bottom here.
Yeah, he has to be so careful showing his face to clear the wave.
Yeah, both teams just are reading the map really, really well. And I think Spirit, this play that they've done has been so effective throughout all the tournament. But you know LGD's done their homework.
Spot collapse around, glimpse back with Blinks there. Collapse breaks the combo, the setup. Instantly going to go for the TP out. Have they got anything to put a stop to it? They do, straight away. They're able to get the setup onto Collapse. He'll look to run, but the damage is done. PSG LGD, they catch and kill off the Tide.
Yeah, and this is a result, right, of Team Spirit has been in the lower bracket, so they've been playing so many games. LGD has that information based on previous games of where does Team Spirit go when they feel like they're behind? What do they do? What is their approach? And I think LGD is one of the best teams at the tournament at just abusing this information that they're gaining about the teams. They understand what is Team Spirit specifically going to do? How do they approach the situation? And they find that smoke because of that. They're playing most of this game with very, very limited vision. I really want to point that out. Like they barely have vision of what's going on the map.
Well, even without their Tide, Spirit maintaining their aggressive posture over PSG LGD's half of the map and already looking for action once again around the bottom tier 2. See if they find the setup. They've got the Hex, they're going to look to jump in. Static Storm's going to be put down from wide. Stops the backup coming in. Still though, is it the burst enough? It is! They take down Arme! That burn for the Bloodthorn, it's enough to send the bear back to base.
That's an absolutely massive kill. And I think Zinq felt like he could keep him alive. There was no relocate out. So next team fight, here's the tricky part. Do you relocate Arma out as soon as he gets hexed? Because Spirit has now proven to you that we have the abilities to burst your heroes. That's why he's also in trouble.
There should be another one. It's definitely another one, Yatoro. Target to target and over towards the mid. The BKB having to be popped by Nothing to Say. See if Yatoro's got the setup he has. As the initial route. See if they've got any further follow-up here, the relocate, they'll take him out. They've got to keep Nothing to Say safe.
Yeah.
Get him away from Team Spirit. As Team Spirit, they're pushing down the mid onto another tier 2 tower.
Nice play by Fate Beyond. Tanks that the Remnant with one of his wolves. But Team Spirit, they're doing this so smart, right? We heard the draft panel touch on it. Fighting 5 versus 5 is not really where they're strong. They want to delay this game, keep finding these pickups, try to find these opportunities where they can get a jump, burst someone really quickly, and use the fact that we have Ravage to reset, we have Naga Sleep to reset, which is forcing LGD to be very careful about how they use their cooldowns. And this is leading to them they're just playing this game very well. And these small decisions that they're making, where you notice they're not really charging into the enemy, they're not giving LGD the kind of fights that they're used to getting.
I mean, and with the heart done on Yatoro, you know, 26 armor, 3500 HP, how hard is it for PSG LGD to really ever get on top of him now and take him out with the focus of Arme's Ursa?
I think the biggest thing is that the illusions are tankier. If you take a look at how Yatoro is playing the fights, he's staying very far back with his primary hero, using the Bloodthorn and using the Ensnare, and having the illusions deal the damage. And if LGD really don't have heroes that want to hit illusions. Ursa wants to sit on top of a hero, like just keep hitting him, keep hitting him, keep hitting him. You don't want to hit these illusions where you get like 5 to 6 hits in, and then you got to switch over to the next one. That's a way of making the Overpower a fairly useless ability.
Of course, that timer that they'll be having in their mind, the Roshan. Potential respawn in just over a minute.
And that minute feels really long, Owen. Let me tell you, right now for PSG LGD, that minute is coming very, very slowly. We see Tidehunter starting to eye up Shiva's guard. That's going to make it even harder for the Ursa to stick on top of him and deal damage. They also just bought a Force Staff on the other Titan. I think for Team Spirit, they're recognizing that, you know what? LGD's not going to be able to kill us if we're just able to kite out their BKBs. And that's why you notice, like, Nothing to Say also has bought a BKB. I think the idea of this is he wants to try to use it to break out of, to have a longer period of time in the team fights where he's playing under Magic Community, because there's just so much lockdown coming out from Team Spirit.
Dire's
Go
bottom
Scepter on Mira.
is under attack.
Toronto Toki has Yules and Kaya Sanj, also eyeing up into Shiva's guard, but I would be surprised if he doesn't change it up. And on the courier, he has a full BKB too, so
Radiant
I'm really
are
liking
scanning.
Spirit for this game one. They're in a very dominant position here.
Radiant's
They're
middle
scaling up very
tower is
nicely.
under
And with
attack.
the timer, they know it's going to be around the point where
Dire's
PSGLG are going to be checking out that Roche pit, looking for the respawn. Spirit, they're heading over to try and do something about the presence. They're going to jump straight in on the GQ, burst with the finger. As the IO goes down, no buyback. GQ cannot get back into this fight. Nothing to Say has to roll out with the Thunder.
So this is huge, right? Both Lycanform was committed, as well as the Pangolier roll. So the Roshan spawns, which it does. This is free Roshan for Team Spirit. And remember how much we talked about how badly you want this for LGD. It doesn't even matter if Sagas comes to use for Yatoro. They just want to make sure that PSG LGD doesn't get it. And this is the only shard, Aghanim shard, that has dropped from Roshan throughout the entire game. So that's 1,400 gold that now Ahmed is going to have to spend for himself.
I mean, it just goes to show how solid of a position that Spirit are in, where just a couple of ults expired by PSG and a dead IO, and suddenly the rest of the lineup, they cannot do anything about Spirit taking the Roche. Continuing their lead here, 7k up. I mean, Yatoro, he himself, 7k difference between him and Arme's farm. Well on the way to having a butterfly complete for the next bit of action as well.
And with this butterfly, he actually has the option of now utilizing his own hero too, once the situation looks good for him, because the Ursa can't just burst him. The bash is going to miss, there's a proc chance on the bash, there's a proc chance on the miss, so it's going to be hard for the Ursa to just lock him down. And just very intelligently itemized by the Naga here. For the early part of the game, when he knew it was going to be a map control game, he bought the Orchid, he bought the Ags, played for the map, looked for those pickoffs, and those key pickoffs have really led to the situation that they're in the game now. Gembot picked up by Y. You can feel, they feel the pressure of the vision. They're not getting the vision that they're used to. They don't have the information that they're used to playing with in this game. And Poshkaz is shutting them down. And Rage forced out.
They're just going to have to stay well away from Spirit. 4 very, very scary minutes of Aegis on Toronto, Tokyo. PSG LGD, they do not want to fight into this. But every minute that passes where they cannot look to brawl is going to be another just minute of pain here with the increasing momentum and mass of the cause of Team Spirit.
Yep. And surely right now, PSG LGD are discussing how do we take a team fight? What is it that we need to do? How do we need to use our abilities in order to catch Team Spirit off guard? And for Team Spirit, I think a lot of the communication is like, we need to make sure that we do not let LGD come out on the map. We don't want them to get out and farm. As long as we can keep them locked into their base, we can get all the items that we want, and then we get the fight that we want. And everything's going to happen on our terms. So you see, they rotate over to the top side here, expecting LGD to run out on the top side of the map. And here we go.
It's time to look for that fight, PSG LGD. Execution has to be immaculate.
Yeah, they're scouting with the wolves. They're getting the info they want.
They're looking to try and start a collapse, but Collapse is able to blink away from the lead-in. They'll turn their attention over towards Yatoro, but with the instead looks to hold him back. Nothing to Say is able to get out of it. As they'll get the static storm set up onto the Nagasara, but the illusions, they're just forcing back Y. Swashbuckle's going to miss. I mean, Yatoro's barely been scratched. He's back up to full HP. PSG LGD, now they run back to base, but Collapse, he's in with the ravage onto the two of them. Silence down onto Armeo, put the BKB, turn towards Toronto, Tokyo, but they cannot stay for this fight. They've got to get back to the high ground, back to the base, as PSG LGD have to charge back to the safety of their high ground as quickly as they head out. Collapse. Gonna look for the setup here outside of the base, another BKB force. Faith Beyond trying to head back to the safety of his teammates. The ensnare locks him down, the illusion's starting to go to work. Remnant left into position, they drag him back with a split right to the finger. My goodness, the Lycan gets absolutely destroyed. And Toronto Tokyo is not done. Diving up to the tier 4s, committing with a dissimilate. He's trying to go for GQ, will die underneath the towers, but he's got the Aegis. He's ready for round 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the micro decision making from Team Spirit is so beautiful to watch. I think every time a hero pops BKB, within half a second, there's a Naganet flying at it. And in the fight, you saw Ahmed pop BKB to try to man up and fight. and then the net comes, immediately he has to pop his ultimate. He can't use the enrage the way he wants to. He's forced to use it defensively all the time, just to break the net, just to be able to stick on top of the targets.
He's trying to clear out these illusions now. It seems all but impossible. The Rex dying, the melee Rex will fall. They get the jump onto your turret, but they've already lost Y at the start of the action. BKB from Arno, he's trying to stay on target, but Yatoro's able to sing their way back to safety. And now he's ready to go back in. The song ends, Toronto Tokyo, BKB up, jump over on the ground, and grabs back the answer. Arme disappears in a matter of seconds. GQ to fall as well. GG is called. And my goodness, what a buttery smooth start to the grand finals here for Team Spirit. They couldn't have played this any better, Aiden. This is how you dream of entering a grand finals at the International.
Yes, absolutely. Just everything they're doing, they're firing on all cylinders. Their macro understanding of the game, how LGD might try to sneak out of base, they're in position to cover it. And then once that fight happens, they're immediately ready to respond in the right way.
I mean, that was incredible. Yatoro turning up, doing it again. Another hero, and it looks like it's a performance to some...
Prepare for battle.
Парни, що ми надрафтили? Парни, що ми надрафтили? Парни, що ми надрафтили?
Just the numbers. Just the numbers.
30 seconds to battle. Begins.
The embers still burn.
Парни, що ми надрафтили? Парни, що ми надрафтили?
Лавека мучится.
MMR is just a number. 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 MMR is just a number.
Парни, що ми надрафтили?
I welcome the abyss.
OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Quincy Crew's turn to ban.
Quincy Crew versus OG in the lower bracket. Now this series, you love to see it, but in the lower bracket, a little rough for both of these teams, but I'm here for it. Brian's here for it as well as T-Golf, because we're here to break down this game, this draft in particular. I want to know from you guys, T, if you're going to look at this draft, who do you want to see set up for success most on the teams?
Ooh, so of course OG, you have to go with Suno, because the way that they play is always kind of propping up that one person to kind of take over the game. So Suno, easy answer. I'll give Brian the harder answer for Quincy Crew.
I got an easy answer for that one. I'm going with Leslau. I think out of all the teams in this tournament, they're the most abnormal in the sense of how their offlaner likes to play. This man is top 10 MMR in a farming heavy region. He plays the Nature's Prophets, the Venomancers, the Necrophoses, the annoying farming, pressuring heroes rather than more of the melee brute strength heroes.
Yeah, we heard Quinn yesterday in that interview talking about the power of the Leslau Nature's Prophet. He made some nice tip-tip-tapping sounds for the rap that we saw come out. Because Quincy Crew is coming up an absolute high, T.
Yeah,
an absolute high in yesterday's series.
It's like 5 games in a row that they've won now. They also had that big comeback. And yeah, that's the kind of thing that you want in a lower bracket run. And you heard in the interviews, right? It's the idea that they were at their lowest lows in group stage, so it can only get better, right? And before we get in the draft, quick pop quiz.
Oh.
You've got Sumel versus what? Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, of course, they're now playing both carry against each other, right? It's the position 1 v position 1.
Following you.
Lifetime matches against each other, brother v brother. Who do you think actually comes out on top? Sumel.
I mean, I'm mitigating it a little bit. I think, Sumail has been on more successful teams than you are. It's simple as that.
Well, funny enough, it's only 80 games total, 43 to 37 to Sumail.
Wow.
So it's really not as like, I think most people would have
barely above.
Exactly, it's barely above 50%. So this really is a lot closer than you expect in regards to the brother versus brother. Of course, right now, OG is, pulling a little bit ahead in regards to TI performance, but, now we've got a couple heroes in the draft.
A couple of heroes in the draft. We already have got 3 heroes on the board here. Brian, is there anything so far that you feel like is something that stands out?
I would just say this is ET. ET is OG's comfort zone this tournament. They've picked it 5 times, 4 out of 5 wins so far. Tiga talked about how they love buffing up their carry. You can do that in multiple ways. They've done it with the Legions, the Mags, or you can do it in the way of buffing up their damage by reducing the resistance on the opponent team. Obviously a very heavily favored hero this entire tournament, but I think ET, especially for a team like OG, is important.
Yeah, I love this opening from Quincy Crew because no matter how much you prepare for Quincy Crew, if you look at all the group stage games they've played, Phoenix not picked by them.
Yeah, and this is kind of the development that you want to see from a team, I think. Like OG, even Fnatic in that previous series, like the essence of their team is very much kind of keep going at you, you're going to try and whittle you down, break you down, and when they have, of course, their ET first pick, now that active Void Spirit, you'd assume there's flexibility here. This most likely will just be the mid lane for Topson. You need to kind of go, are you going to fight into it with skirmishing? Run into them. So Mag Phoenix, they are some of the better heroes at just holding their areas, making sure that if OG runs into them, they're going to be able to lock down that fight and just take it to OG.
Turn to ban.
Yeah, I'd say that Phoenix, even though they haven't necessarily picked it in this tournament, is just a classic for this team. We saw in their best of 1 that I viewed their draft as more so what hero does each individual want to play this game rather than necessarily countering the opponent. And I would much rather see Quincy Crew in this spot because throughout this tournament, at their highs they've looked high and at their lows they've looked really low. So at this point, do the TI8 game 4 OG. What do you feel like playing? What are you going to carry us on? And I hope it's on MSS personally, because he's a very farm heavy 4 and Phoenix is one of the greediest 4s out there and can definitely take over a game.
He can indeed. I want to talk about the mid lane because Void Spirit, as you guys mentioned, most likely for Topson in that middle lane. That's great. We see a lot of Void Spirit mid. We see a lot of different counters to it, and I think the jury's not out on if Storm Spirit is good against Void Spirit mid. Right, T?
Yeah, well, we did see Storm Spirit handle a Void Spirit earlier today.
Was that the hero, though, or was that the player?
It's kind of one of those things where Storm, if you get it onto the high ground, right, and you're playing on your remnants, pushing out, you can easily bully the Void Spirit. Void Spirit needs a little bit more regen, so I can see why Storm should have the advantage in that, but it is very much like 60-40 Storm, I'd probably go with on a quick throw of numbers.
Yeah, I'd say it's slightly Storm favor, but I've seen it both ways where either hero's picked first in the draft, so most players seem comfortable playing in their it's kind of like the Quap Puck of 6-7 years ago, back when those 2 heroes were about even in the mid lane and it all came down to skill.
Yeah, it does look like OG wants to remove a couple of spirits there, at least the Ember Spirit removed from the pool. So far, are the bans particularly speaking to something here?
I guess the main one here for OG is the fact they banned out the Void, of course, because previously I mentioned the idea, the essence of Quincy Crew lineup. If you look at the average game length for Quincy's wins, it's like 40 plus minutes. Compared to OG, it's nearly touching, it's like 32, 33, right? So it does feel like Quincy is trying to play for the fact that the game most likely will last longer. They have have struggled to find these quicker wins with their execution. So heroes like Void, like Ember, that can utilize that empower from the Magnus, have that additional farm, take the fight to them, and then you don't need to play on your cooldowns. That's kind of what Quincy Cruz is kind of looking for in their heroes.
Yeah, I'll go on the other side. The Morphling is probably the best ranged hero to kill the egg because you have a mag. The RP is going to deter a lot of the melee heroes. He has a really low base attack speed on the Morphling. And then the Legion Commander, despite losing to Secret yesterday, OG is 5-1 with it. So it's definitely just a signature for them. It gives one of its teammates attack speed to kill the egg and also the potential save from press the attack on the RP.
Yeah, they so far have played it mostly, of course, in a position 5, but a little bit of a flex pick there too with the Legion Commander. Are there any flex picks possible on Quincy Crew? I know you said Phoenix could be 4 or 5, and both of those are supports. I'm assuming Magnus will be for Leslap.
Yeah, I'd assume that too, but you could also maybe pivot it to some kind of mid-roll situation. You just go farm war against the Void Spirit, but I don't want to see Quinn doing that.
Do not give Quinn mag, not because he's a terrible mag, but he's got like 5 heroes that he's just on a whole nother level than anything else.
That's what I was leaning to, you know. I was like, as I was saying, it's like there was going to be a big butt coming in for the Quinn factor, but Brian took it away. But yeah, 100%. It's like you could do it, but yeah, right now Magnus for Quincy is probably either going to be their 5 or their off lane. Phoenix is their their 4 or their 5. Like Quincy is keeping a little bit more open. Where again, like OG, they play one beautiful style of Dota, which is in your face.
Yep.
So draft defensive, and you should be able to maybe play into it if you have your spells up in the right place and time.
Yeah, because Brian, you said you wanted Quincy Crew to set up Leslau for success, like that's the keystone player here, if you will. Picking the hero of your keystone player first is not the traditional answer.
Yeah, it seems like it's more like Quinn they're going to focus on, but at the same time could just be Yawar that gets the last pick. I'm really liking Monkey King. It's still in the pool. I know we haven't seen it too much mid, but I know Quinn loves his mid lane dominance matchups. Monkey King versus Void Spirit could be pretty cool here.
Turn to pick.
Here we go. There it is. The Monkey King coming out for Quincy Crew.
100% Quincy trying to keep everything a little bit more open here. And then the final battle for OG, we'll see us another hero that can thrive with the settlement farm.
Quincy
For the next 5 to 10 minutes, similar to like a TA. So I want to see a more active carry from Yawar if they're going to be putting the Monkey King mid. That's why I like the Spectre and the Jug bans, because not only are they strong scaling against the Luna, but they also participate much earlier in mid-game team fights.
And then they go for the Furin. So you see from Quincy's ban, Darkseer and Nightstalker, heroes that want to kind of push your team forward. And we've seen other teams so far, again, Fnatic as a great example, even though as a support, it's a hero that plays lane pretty well. These ranged supports, be it Phoenix, be it Lion, they do not like walking into the treants that Furin creates, and you can never bully the hero behind. So an offlane Furin in this position will be able to remove the support factor of laning phase, and whatever carries picked here, they need to be able to muscle up into this area. Like, is Sven available? I didn't see the ban. Okay, they go for Kunkka. So it's going to be the monkey carry right in this situation, and then the Kunkka mid.
And it's gonna be Quinn Kunkka and Yawar the Monkey King. Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nyx Assassin on the side of OG actually quite decent in dealing with the Kunkka, no?
To some degree, you can cancel the combos, but we just saw how Kunkka, if you have a good lane against Void Spirit, you go farm efficient, you rush that BKB, you can mitigate the nuisance of OG, and that's where OG, they need to make sure they don't lose that mid lane, because if this Kunkka does run around freely with the map, with a BKB, Fury won't do anything, Luna won't do anything, so none of OG's lineup will be able to deal with a BKB to some degree until Luna has the farm, until the Furin has the farm.
Alright guys, it is time to get this series on the way. It's time for game 1 of OG Quincy Crew. First though, we're going to head over to Jake, who's standing ready with the coach of Quincy Crew, Kazoo.
Dude, I love this game so much, man.
Crew going to have to pick their moments more carefully. Much more delicate draft for them, whereas OG, like you say, it's their play style, it's their drafting style. They run at you non-stop and they force errors from their opponents. As we get ourselves into game 1 of this best of 3. Already smoked up, Quincy Crew looking to try and defend that mid lane. Get as much
we already
intel
get the
as
D-ward.
we can. And there it is. That straight up D-ward from No-Tail. A signal of intent from OG already. And Saxa, well, he's making a nice little home for himself here in that triangle. forcing Quincy Crew away.
30 seconds to
Now they know that there is no ward, so they could potentially make a turnaround play, backstab potentially from the high ground, have the vision advantage. Quincy Crew approaching MSS and Leslau.
Yeah, reclaim their territory, kick them out. No more squatting by OG up in that triangle. As we do have that little Monkey King disguised as a courier. And some Treants there as well, but Yawar, he's not going to give this zone up without a bit of a scrap. Gets a couple of hits onto Saxa. And it does allow Quincy Crew to get 3 of those first 4 bounty runes.
Slay together, slay together, slay together. So much, man.
And that was after OG started with some very aggressive pushes forward. So Thompson, your Void Spirit in the mid lane, facing off against Quinn's Kunkka. Which way do you lean in this kind of melee versus melee matchup?
There's going to be a lot of harassment coming out from Kunkka. Thompson will need to bring extra sustain. I expect supports to come around and protect the 2 and 4 minute water rune, so we'll see who makes the first move. There's going to be a lot of harassment, as I mentioned, on the Void Spirit, the cleave, and you also have a bit of an absorb damage from Resonant Pulse coming out from the Void Spirit.
Oh, No Tail already with a double stun. Are they going for this? Can he body block MSS? He's forced the Fairy Fire and a good impale will at least keep Sumail away. The threat of OG already beginning, but there's Quinn, like you said, harassing and chipping away at Thompson. And I think that mid lane, once we get to 6-7 minutes, the panel said it as well, both of these players a little more sacrificial in terms of how much farm they soak up on the map, much more focused on playing aggressively and starting team fights.
I feel like whoever gets 6 in this matchup will just go extremely ham. There's a lot of, pride on the line. You might need to knock out OG. You might knock out OG out of TI. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the heads of these players right now. Back to the bottom lane. Illusion Beam, it got nerfed, so it's now level 1, 9 seconds instead of the 6 seconds before. So a bit of a nerf to Luna's laning stage. Still very strong laner.
Absolutely is, yeah. 7-3 on that CS. Sitting pretty up near the top, and No Tail. Oh, he's being a busybody, throwing stuns onto Leslau.
Needs to be careful, still level 1 on that Nyx.
He's got nice base regen though, like with the Tango going 13 HP per second. So he'll be just fine.
For a second I thought you were doing math, Gary, then I checked it and it's showing on the screen. I'm like, how's this guy so correct?
Oh, Thompson!
Oh,
careful, buddy!
With the Fairy Fire.
He had the backup of Saxa coming as well. And they will bully Quinn away from lane, but there are water runes to be gathered up. Man, these punches from the ET just keep on coming. Well, it looks like MSS a little worse for wear in that bot spot. Will have to wander back and sell themselves back up to full. Man, these Tidebringer hits onto Thompson. Every time we look into mid.
It's a lot of damage, but there is potentially a turnaround play, or Seb could TP with his Nature's Prophet, deal a couple of extra hits, which could make the difference there.
Yeah, such a great aspect of Nature's Prophet, that ability to dogpile onto people.
And now we see Kunkka. This is his ability. One of the ways to dominate the lanes. Back to Fountain, bottle, full HP, full mana. Didn't talk too much about the top lane. We see Yawar on Monkey King, 11 CS. Seb, how's he doing?
I mean, it's a Nature's Prophet against a Phoenix support, right? So he's continually hitting them.
It's very hard. They don't deal well with the summoned units. And Saxa, he also managed to, leave some XP for Seb on the top lane, checking out the rune for Thompson.
Thompson, dragged back into the Torrent. Quinn's gonna pummel him a little bit here, but again, no real kill threat. Just putting him in that threshold where the potential for him to die is there. And like you said, of course, forcing him to bring out some more salves as Saxa decided that top lane, he's had enough. He will return full HP, full mana, and potentially, bottle refill mid, right, with a TP.
Yeah, because Thompson needs it. Thompson right now sitting at 20% HP. Saxa, hurry up, where are you at?
Please, bro. Come out and refill my bottle. There it is.
And we're gonna see a water rune being picked up. Use the and we'll pick up the bottom water rune.
And that allows that Void Spirit to stay in the lane, stay in the game. Pretty even in terms of CS between the two of them. But Luna really now becoming that forerunner with 13 denies as well.
That's a lot of denies, Gary.
That's a lot, isn't it? It's been down to No Tail's hard work. Continually pushing back the Magnus and the Lion. Go on, high-five him.
Notail was expecting a lot more harassment, a lot more aggression coming out from the Quincy's off lane. He brought 2 healing salves, so Luna should be very confident in surviving, and also has 12 magic wand charges, so I don't think they can bring her down. There's going to need to be a rotation from Kunkka to actually kill Sumail early on.
Yeah, maybe even the Kunkka and the Phoenix. We'll see what happens. Monkey King, of course, notoriously a faster position 1 hero than some of the others, can get involved early on. We'll see what Yawar will get done in these opening moments of game 1.
Bounty.
MSS contending with that pull across. As it's been a bit quiet up top, right? Saxa and Seb, they've had Saxa move into mid, roaming around a bit, helping to TP and fill that bottle. Does leave Seb to lap up all of that leftover experience and gold, and he's doing pretty damn well for himself now with the Sprout.
Oh,
the body
need to be careful where the body blocks.
in front. Can they chase down this Monkey King?
Oh, no. It was close. It's that Treant.
The combo hit though. Quinn's having a crack onto Thompson. Ah, he's got the step. Astral step to jump away.
No one can go back and refill the bottle for Thompson, so he will need to go back to base and TP to a lane, potentially TP to one of the side lanes, because I see Notail running down the mid lane, which means that he will be trying to soak up some experience. Hex on Notail.
Where's the root?
There is no follow-up.
Illusion for MSS. So that means no bottle refills. As OG bringing 2 supports into mid as well. They're really trying to... Oh, Seb. Oh, good Sprout. Yawar cuts through the trees. He's got that Jingu going. One more touch. It's LOA.
LOA getting the first blood. Like, this is very important. Usually you would want to give it to Yawar if that's possible, but still getting a kill on your position. 5 Phoenix means quite a lot. And also he got a decent amount of levels. Level 4.5, 6 minutes in on your position 5 is not too bad.
A kill is a kill. Secure it one way or the other. Good skewer. As Leslau gets himself away from the grasps of OG.
It's very hard for bottom lane to trade Sumail. 3 points in Lunar Blessing, which means 25 damage. Oof. So Nyx sitting at 80 damage per hit. Leslau a bit low on HP. Has that Helm of Iron Will, which he will turn, of course, into Helm of the Dominator, something that has been popular throughout the group stage and the main event, where you can do a lot of stuff. You know, we've seen some cookies into Centaur Stomps, empowered creep, and also scouting things out for a potential, you know, if they want to climb the uphill, you can stack with it, and overall just a decent item.
It's so powerful.
Very powerful, Gary.
Very reminiscent of that Centaur build, right? The Ring of Health, no items, just Rush Ring of Health for your Vanguard. Similar from a lot of these offlaners nowadays.
Oh, thank God we're staying away from that.
We're away from that,
yeah. Now Helm is the new Ring of Health.
It is. It absolutely is. Seb going to be jungling a little bit. He's got his TP ready in 10 seconds. Treads and the Blightstone. So potential here for any kill to be converted into an objective, if they're able to get on top of Quincy.
Once Seb gets level 6, they're going to start to play a bit more aggressive on the side lanes, because there is a ton of damage coming out from Breath of Nature. LOA.
Well, he finds Seb.
Dive is ready.
He can get away from this, but he's been stomped up. Do they want to finish off the Phoenix? It's going to be a difficult task, isn't it? Meanwhile, mid, Sumail's made his way in there. Backed up by MSS. Quinn will get away, and LOA also diving out of the reach of OG.
I love this from Quinn. I check his quick buy, straight BKB after phase boots. Understand they have nothing that goes through spell immunity, no magic immunity, so it's gonna be very, very tough for them.
And that fits his role in the team as well, right? That chaos creator, the action maker, so he'll be able to run around from a very early point.
As Panel talked about, a bit of a sacrificial. Mid sometimes sacrifices his own farm, so Yawar and the offlane can get more.
And also, it's indication of how fast they want to play, right? Because we've seen this build quite a lot. The double bracer into the BKB. Are they going to find him? Oh, yeah, they will. Yawar, this time allowed to pick up the kill as bottom. The tier 1 being dived. Quinn's here with an X mark in towards Notail, turning him up, and Shockwave back. He does get out of Carapace, so delaying the move that Quincy crew are making. The trouble being, he's being skewered around and destroyed by Quinn, while LOA is going to try to TP away, but Seb and Thompson are both there.
a lot of action happening. There's going to be a ton of pressure on the bottom lane. They even glyph. Like, the value that they get from this glyph is stopping the mid push and also keeping their creeps bottom alive. I don't think there's enough for OG to stop the bottom push.
Sumail is wide out in the open. He's going to get comboed here by MSS and Quinn. Thompson's trying to backstab and Sumail will survive. MSS hiding behind the trees, but they're broken by Seb, who sprouts him up. Pops his stick, but that's never enough.
Okay.
Is he going to get stopped here? He slept up and his courier's died. A nice impale from No Tail and 4 heroes. OG bring the numbers.
Oh, they brought the numbers on a mid lane. They wanted to respond. They saw their bottom tier 1 tower falling. They bring the numbers on a mid lane. They get 2 kills for
and a conversion into the tower as well.
And they get the tower. Thompson even gets the last hit on the tower. Double damage picked up, so that means that they're going to be playing even more aggressive right now. This is the lineup that does not rely on any of the cooldowns. They find the juicy stack.
They do. Not only finding kills mid, taking the tower, but stealing the stacks. Unable to get the Ancients just yet, but I believe Sumail will be eyeing it up in short order. Right now, he's up top. Should be able to clear through his own triangle, which, oh, it looks like Ancients have been blocked by that sentry ward, though.
They need to devord it, because Luna would definitely love to spend a lot of time right now in a triangle. Mask of Madness is available. Moonglave's about to...
But Saxa is going to try to stomp this, not landing it. The TP was far too quick. As they aim for Sumail instead, Leslau, he gets the RP down.
Done. Shockwave in a second.
Can they get Sumail with an X mark? They surely can, but they TP in with Thompson arriving. They get back onto UR. They blow up the Monkey King in a 1-for-1 trade.
Nice play
gets a double blow.
That's a really good trade for Quincy. They managed to kill 3 of OG members while only losing the Monkey King. And Quinn's getting big. That's his BKB getting delivered. Sumail maybe expected a bit earlier help there from Nyx Assassin.
Yeah.
Even if Nyx lands a stun, Kunkka was still coming from the south, so he still dies. Dobson picking things out. Quinn a bit too hard to kill. Might try to poke with possible Nature's Prophet. Try to get the BKB charge off.
Even with these moves, though, the net worth dead even between the two squads. The control of the map doesn't feel like it's edging one way or the other just yet.
Both teams playing very carefully right now. That was a good move from Quincy. Picking off OG's carry. Scouting a Roche.
But now it's a waiting game.
Red light, green light, Gary.
That's the game they're playing, Lacoste.
There are no green dots, only one on Monkey. Yeah. So OG trying to use this as their advantage. Quincy Crew will definitely defend this.
They have to.
Try to poke, maybe delay it.
They do get a tower mid. And that will force OG to come back and try and stand off against them, but No Tail. Missing the impale on LOA means no kill. Dire even scanning the Roche pit there. But the ability now for OG to TP Seb top, apply pressure on the opposite side of the map is something that Quincy Crew are always going to have in their mind. Especially, do we go on this Phoenix? Because Leslau is here, gets a skewer.
Good carapace.
Yeah, good carapace. Does stop any kind of skewer play after the shockwave. And again, we return to our sides of the river. But if there's any team that understands this Nature's Prophet and the ability to split push and control the game, it's got to be Quincy Crew with Leslau, right?
Quincy will strike right now. They need to be pushing out the lanes to have them in good position. Monkey King disassembled. Echo Saber now has a BKB. We'll go back once again for that Echo Saber because it's too valuable item, but now they have 2 BKBs ready and the Blink Dagger on Mag. We still have not seen RP being used, so looking forward to that. Seb being pinged out.
That's the target they want to go for. Immediate TP, but in comes the RP. Bring down the Prophet. No more pesky Seb pushing out these lanes, as it looks like OG are rallying down in that bottom lane, still considering what kind of fight they can bring out here. They spot the Phoenix. Elder Titan Spirit with a Vendetta stun mid-air. They catch him.
Meanwhile, Forest on the mid lane, full combo.
They're going to get him. They found him. Quinn and MSS pair up to look for Sumail, but the BKB not enough. Thompson backstabs MSS, but he doesn't have any backup.
Oh, this is gonna cost OG quite a lot. Luna getting picked off twice and also using a BKB charge.
Feels bad for Sumail. That's a couple of deaths in a row where not really accomplishing anything otherwise. Yeah, torrented, stunned, hexed, and dies. So a good turn of events here for Quincy Crew. Again, you said that's their moment to strike. Use a couple of ultimates, get a couple of kills, and then calm things down. Return to farming with that empowered Monkey King, and even the empowered Kunkka, if he gets it. For now, relying on the Tidebringer for his farming. Thompson hungry for that Helm creep. And even looking into the dire jungle here, but not able to see any heroes. They will get a couple of D-wards though on that Obs and Sentry. And that's Roshan control, isn't it? Looking to really dominate the area around the pit.
Yeah, they want to have vision around the Roche pit because their heroes are really good at taking it. You have Nature's Prophet with Trians taking it up. You have Luna.
Good stop.
BKB is available once again.
Kill. Doesn't have mana for stun. Earth Splitter's in, but LOA has the Supernova. It feels like OG were just trying to bait it out. No Tail will give his life for one of those ultis of Quincy Crew. They do get a root on this. Elder Titan though is Saxa. He's got nowhere to run. OG can't hide. He's being run at by Quincy Crew. The Wukongs. It's arrived.
Hex is available.
Thompson. 3 quick kills. Quincy Crew asserting their dominance. They're charging forward.
Quincy Crew just bringing the numbers. They're doing a very good job protecting their heroes. They don't have the best Roche taking lineup, so they need to chill a bit. Maybe once their AC is up, so that's gonna buff him up, give a bit more minus armor.
As long as you stay positive.
And now biding their time for those ultis to come up again. What's the... Oh, Seb. It sprouts. Yoar silences the Monkey
That's
King.
not gonna help
but he's
him.
dying 1v1. Yoar's Monkey King. That Dire Observer would a little deeper, knowing that Seb was coming. Allows them to set up on the Prophet. And again, it's Quincy Crew. Beautifully done.
Yawar's game read so far has been excellent. Joining the fights when it's necessary, jumping from tree to tree, playing around the Magnus to give him that empower, staying on top of the network. His item build also very standard stuff, I would say, in this situation when there's so much at the stake. BKB once again going for that Echo Saber, and the next item is Scotty.
Yeah, and in comparison to Sumail we just saw there, Yawar doing much better across the board. Top net worth on the Monkey King.
Under attack.
Far more kills. Far more game impact, like you're mentioning. Quinn. If anybody walks up that ramp, they're his. Oh, they'll know there's a bit of vision. Tapped by the Wrath of Nature. Quinn is such a difficult target to go on now with his BKB.
They cannot burst him down. They just don't have the tools. They will need to possibly lock him with the Nyx Assassin into ET Stomp, into Remnant, which is going to be very hard to deal with. You need to bring the numbers, you need to group around, and this is where Magnus Lion could make a counterplay. Also Phoenix level 12 on your position 5 has level 2 ulti. They don't have the egg hitters. If they can kill Luna or disable her, egg is not gonna be killed.
Yeah, like who does it come down to then? Seb has to do it, but Seb has been, oh, the quick BKB, very fast on the fingers. Let's get a little stun of the Monkey King here. Sleeping the Magnus, and Carapace back, but MSS with a Hex, a bit of back and forth, but a 2-man stun, the Supernova in the back. They're gonna find them. Sumail has to BKB and run, but Laszlo has the RP. Gorgeous stuff from Quincy Crew, and they're gonna keep going for more. Seb, his X-Mark dragged back, he's dead. Quincy Crew has their number. Saxa with Thompson try and turn around onto Quinn. No teleport back for this, but Yawar with a triple kill.
Thompson needs to be careful. Only the Simulate is available. Nice
dodge. Gets away from the stun, and a double kill will be his. But another torrent's there for an ultra. Yawar's Monkey King.
As long as we stay positive.
9, 1, and 5.
He's just too powerful to deal with. They need to prolong the team fights. Even though they need to keep fighting and lower the BKB durations, it's gonna become much easier for OG to take a fight. They just don't have the tools right now to deal with this overfarm Monkey King and Kunkka.
1,000 gold. I like that. Very aesthetically pleasing. 1,111.
Phoenix arriving, as we mentioned, it's very hard to kill him. Shard was available, so that means a Supernova. Sunray during the Supernova, we're going to see that again.
And he was on that high ground, right? Just above the staircase when he got his egg off. He backs all the way up, knowing that they want to fight here. Even under OG vision.
That was such a good impale there from Lion, Earth Spike.
And there's the finish. Goes in for that RP. And Yawar, even when his BKB ends, he just knows that they've got them on the run. Great ability just to keep on running forward and battle. I mean, Thompson, there's just nothing he can do. He just dissimulates to try and get away from the stun, but that's it. Gets a double kill and bails away.
Dire's top
OG feeling a bit worse for wear the way these fights have been going.
Sumail getting closer to Shard. This is the build on Luna that we've seen in the main stage.
They found Seb again.
There's too much damage.
DD Rune Kunka slaughtering him. Yes, you'll find MSS and LOA, but Sumail is gonna run. Sucks up. Battling back onto Quinn. The X-Mark forces the BKB. Nice stomp in there, but Quinn has one of his own. The shiny golden god is chasing No Tail now. Quincy got to be a little bit careful though.
Need to pull back. Yawar, BKB's available.
Thompson's got a lot left in the tank, but you're right. There's Wukongs, there's BKB on that Monkey King, and potential buybacks from Quincy's supports.
Luna just hit level 18, so that means more beams coming out from her. Getting closer to that Shard. Shard, even though it got nerfed, it's still a very good Shard. We've seen in the previous series where there was a Crystallis and also Aghanim Shard, or the one before.
Hello.
Now inside the pit.
Hello. That's an Assassin who's got a carapace on the two of them with a two-man stun to go along with it. Leslau's blown up. Oh, Quincy crew, they thought they were making a move.
He's getting blocked.
OG to turn it back on them. They get the Luna though. Magnus for Luna doesn't feel so bad.
Saksa in a very bad spot, trying to get out.
Little stomp there, but they'll scout him out.
This fight is over for OG. Thompson thinking about going back in again.
He's got No Tail there, but high ground vision spots Thompson coming in. He's under the outpost, and they know exactly what he's up to. Arcane Rune already used up. Thompson would love to have a bit of a scrap. Eyes up Quinn.
Playing a bit of a dangerous game here.
And he's looking towards MSS.
First silence, second silence into Remnant.
But now what? Dissimulate away, try and run and hide.
Fight might be over for OG, but it's not over for Thompson. Still thinking about going in once again. Arcane Rune available.
And No Tail playing on this dire side of the map. He's scouting, he's looking for anyone that's lurking. We'll get a D-ward as well. But Thompson's there. This pairing, just finding kill after kill, or do they? The boat turn around with Quinn arriving. They kill off the Phoenix, but now Quinn will chase down No Tail. Oh, he doesn't want to go for it. He's so afraid of what's lurking in the shadows.
Too afraid of the bug. It's very hard for him to play. It's like solo kill the next assassin. There's always going to be this fear of carapace, and he does not have any invis and any reveal.
Scanning.
And here's Yawar, that full up Skadi.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Next up, the Basher in the quick buy for him. Quincy crew will have their ultimates already pretty soon, but OG knows there is a window here. 3 heroes smoked, Thompson one of them. After the Aghanim Scepter, heading into E-Blade, looking for that magic nuke damage, but also saves, right? The damage from Quincy crew, heavy physical from Monkey, Kunka, and the Magnus.
Potentially there is a turnaround. Once he picked up that Aghanim Scepter, started playing a bit more aggressively. 2 supports, they don't have any kind of defense tools, so he will need to jump the back lines. Try to burst the Phoenix, play with the Nyx Assassin, who can provide the vision. Well, smoke from Quincy.
OG 3 hero smoke, Quincy respond with 5. The entirety of OG though up in that top lane, soft pushing it with a Treants, scouting with No Tail's Nyx.
Also bought Gem, so they can see Nyx Assassin. He's been very annoying Historically, any Hex, Shaman, Lion were always powerful against the Nyx Assassin. Can't use that carapace.
Catch him before he can turn your damage back onto you.
Dire's top tower is under
Great to
attack.
Treants. Gonna whack away at that top tier 3. Quincy Crew not having any of that though. They are straight into the Roche pit.
Now they have 3 BKBs. Even Leslau finished his.
Is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
And there's no contact here from OG.
They
They
need
know
to know.
this is
No one's
happening.
showing up. They need to know something fishy is happening.
They get the Aegis for free. Top tier 3 is half HP. But OG don't get the finish. They want to fight this still though, even with the Aegis in hand. OG, Quinn nearly blown up. Can they take him down? They'll get it.
Yes, they can.
Conker's
Can
gone.
finish him.
No tails traded out. They fall
back
back
for
on Quinn. Great Bowler strike though from Yoar. Picks up Sumail and straight back onto the ET. Fake pump the RP. Laszlo didn't even need it.
Dire's bottom tower.
There was like no way they go into that fight and kill Monkey King twice. The BKB, the Aegis on him, he's just too powerful. Level 23 right now. They need to be very aware how strong he is. They didn't even use 3 ultis. There's still 3 green dots on top of the screen for Quincy.
Yeah. Like at the very end of that, Laszlo was like, do I have to? Now I can hold my RP for next fight. 4 minutes left at Aegis 2.
Quinn expended his buyback. I don't think it's that costly. Still, OG cores are keeping up in terms of net worth.
And the longer we drag this game out, the more efficacy this Prophet has in the ability to split push lanes, control that map, and do physical damage. He's got Witchblade, Orchid, heading into Shadowblade. He is becoming another carry hero.
No Tail scouting him out.
Hello. Bit of monkey business. Hello, he's behind him.
They need to protect Luna. They need to have some kind of protection. Nyx Assassin finally finishes his item. That
Oh, the
could make
carapace.
the difference. Nice
With a
carapace.
spirit on top of him, he's gonna get stomped up here. Sumail is waiting for his moment. There's Thompson blinking in the back with the RP on the Luna. They catch her out.
Inside the
Wukongs, and down you go. MSS is ghost sceptered up, and they're gonna find another one. Quincy Crew with another couple of quick kills. Beautiful execution. And with Quinn coming in, they do stomp him to stop the combo. But Yoar is so strong.
He's out of everything to simulate the big AoE, but still, he's gonna drop.
Gets that streak away from Thompson. Luna and the Void Spirit both dead. Massive kills here and a monumental victory for Quincy Crew.
Leslau not even flinching, not thinking about it twice. He sees Luna, RP straight away, skewer back inside the Wukong's command. There is too much damage coming out from the Monkey King. Still 2.5 minutes left on it. They're gonna go for the high ground push. There is Kata, and there is also an Alpha Wolf.
Oh yeah, and a couple of shard golems as well. Go on, little buddies. Get up to the high ground and
Leslau does not want to micro the Alpha Wolf, just presses move on Monkey King. Now Wolf, still in.
Meanwhile,
oh, No-Tail needs to be careful.
He does. He tries here on the monkey. They silence him up, and all that damage! Where did his HP go? Aegis gets popped out, and top lane, I think, has lost a tower, denied by the Lion, as you are. Well,
Safe play from
BKB, so
It's
an
the
even
second
trade.
BKB.
As long as we stay positive, we'll win.
Yeah, just keep it out. Did not want to risk anything. He knows there are no BKB piercing abilities. It gets out immediately. I always feel BKB, I'm never going to get used to BKB going from 10 seconds to 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Because it feels like what chocolate factories are doing and like chips.
I'm sorry, what?
You pay the same price nowadays, but you get the less amount from it.
Oh, you're paying for air in the bags,
Yeah,
aren't you?
pretty much.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. I mean, back in our day, we could sell BKB and buy a new one, Lacoste.
Yes, we could.
Long gone. One of those days, though.
Very happy that we cannot do that anymore, because the games would be pretty boring.
Infinite games, infinite buybacks, and infinite BKBs. We're in a really good place right now. Quinn has a Scythe of Ice queued.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
So that's even more control to be able to handle the Void Spirit, who, he's been one of the struggles, one of the challenges Quincy Crew has been having is dealing with Thompson. So far, it's been focus Sumail, kill him off. Do you think that Seb's and Thompson's build here have been an adaptation to that, knowing that Sumail will be a target? They're building more into the kind of carry builds here, from the Prophet especially.
That's what Nature's Prophet does. He wants to be able to scale. You have a scaling lineup coming out from your off lane as well. Now has like that Witchblade, the Orchid. They want to prolong the team fight. They want to keep them as long as possible. Try to bait one of the big spells. And ET, he finally finished his item. This is what Saksa has been saving for. Aghanim Scepter done. Mask of Madness queued up. I think Fog would be pretty proud about this build that he's going for. Also, like just max move speed, phase boots, wind lace, and also holding spider legs.
If there's a hero or an item build that shows off EG, it's that right there. Run at you with some big heavy punches.
Well, we brought EG into this game. I guess you meant OG.
OG, sorry.
Yeah. A lot of Gs. Everything's gaming, esports, e-gamers.
Oh, don't bring e-gamers into this, Lacoste. I've told you about that. Is it smoke time from Quincy? They're all grouping up here. Still quite a long time to wait for the next Roshan. So we'll need some fights.
Monkey King. Level 25, full Abyssal Blade. So even if you have a BKB, you're still not gonna be secure. You're not gonna feel safe. And that extra Wukong's command ring. It's great for sieging. Quincy Crew, they don't need to rush anything. Next Roshan will spawn in 2 minutes. So if they can possibly get a pick off, that'd be great. But they're playing for the Roche timing.
Yeah, and there we saw double Eon Disc, Abyssal Blade. Tons of ways to win a team fight for Quincy Crew. No Tail yet again being very pesky. Sneaky bug. And that dire half of the map.
Great itemization from Quincy Sports.
Behind.
Those two Eon Discs are going to keep them alive. Here we go.
And there's the Eon Disc already. Nice hands to stick with Eon Disc, but they're blowing up. Thompson gets both supports. Now Quinn. Oh, he's got BKB ready. He's going to have to use it here. He's going to have to run. But no, you aren't. He's been stunned. A Hawk toss back finds No Tail. But a Wukong's command for a Nyx Assassin and losing both supports feels pretty bad for Quincy Crew.
That was such a great execution there from OG. Poking, proccing the Eon Disc, and then going back in again. Thompson using the full combo, and now holding the gem. So that's going to be the big one. They can see Kunkka, they can get the D-wards, and their Nyx Assassin can feel a bit more safe going in and initiating from the invis.
Yeah, Thompson the one holding it. There is a high ground ward for Quincy there, though. So he's not gonna spot that just yet. While Leslau sees him perfectly. Knows that Saksa is just behind Thompson. But there's the Horn Toss, drag it back in. Thompson will dissimulate and E-Blade and blow him up!
Oh man, this is a classic Thompson play. Gets Horn Tossed and still manages to get a kill. Hits level 25, dissimulate stuns for 2 seconds, so that's gonna be very hard. He has an extra ring, also extra damage coming up from the shard.
And it felt like Leslau maybe could have RP'd that, but you're right, Thompson just outplaying him. Now with an Eon Disc of his own. Even more impervious to the Quincy Crew abilities to catch him out. Scythe of Voice done on the Prophet now. Is there someone to play with No Tail down here? Seb is pretty distant. So No Tail's Nyx just going to try and keep tabs on the Monkey King. See if he jumps across the canopy.
There, he's dead. Yawar knows. He knows something's fishy.
Something's going on down there. MSS is even here. Bring everybody to this. If OG is setting up, we will as well.
Roshan will respawn in a second. There he is. Sumail scouting it out.
Straight into the pit.
They just saw members of Quincy Crew on the bottom lane. While Seb is showing top. Buyback. Not available on him, but has a full Sight of Vice. This road's gonna go down so quickly. Quincy's not gonna be able to respond.
They are nowhere near fast enough. That's a huge grab for OG. Oh, look. Oh, he's a massive golden piggy. Beautiful. And there it is. Roshan falling. OG claiming the prize. Saxa grabbed up by Quinn. X-Mark dragged and the backstab again from Thompson. Forces the supernova, but the Abyssal Blade. Oh no, he's out! You cheeky devil just assimilates away thanks to that Eon Disc.
Yeah, that Eon Disc. Ghost Ship Fleet not hitting anything. They're thinking about going in.
Oh, they got Quinn. He's got no BKB. He's dead. One more touch will secure it, and with no buyback, they'll need the RP. Inside the Wukong, Sumail skewered back. That's a good amount of damage, but MSS, he's been destroyed. Sumail going deep with Thompson. They want LOA with the E-Blade strike, but they can't finish off the Phoenix. Instead, they want the Monkey King slapped up, and a big splitter will rip him in half.
Available, needs to do it.
Has to buy back, and we're in a 3v5 as OG shred their base.
OG did not lose a single hero. Kunkka, since he bought back in the previous fight, he does not have gold. Buyback is available. And Roche, if they want to play this safe, they can go inside the pit.
I mean, they still have 4 minutes left.
They're a bit low on HP.
Sumail going high ground, 3 minutes 40 on the Aegis. They can keep pushing this. They must know. Sensing blood in the water now. Quincy Crew, a wounded animal. And OG and the Hunters looking to finish off the kill. Thompson, he's on Lion. They've got you all.
This is it. They call
it one done.
They're calling it. What a turnaround from OG in game number 1.
After a superb laning stage and early game from Quincy Crew, OG pick their moment.
It was a Thompson show. Sumail, they had his number. They shut him down completely. But when it mattered, Thompson managed to pick the team up, play around, go for those risky plays. The classic Thompson show.
Really gorgeous, gorgeous stuff there. Game 1 victory for OG. And in a different fashion to what we've seen them, throughout history, throughout the group stage. This was much